Hey everybody, my name's Blake, and I am going to tell you about a country called Japan. Have you heard of Japan? Maybe you've heard of kimono. Maybe you've seen the Japanese flag. It looks like this. It's got a red circle in the middle of a white flag. Have you seen this? Do you know this character's name? It's Hello Kitty. Have you seen this character? Maybe you have. What's his name? His name is Mario. He's a video game character. This is what Mario looked like when I was a kid. A little different. That was the 80s. This character is famous in Japan. This character's name is Doraemon. I don't know this character's name, but I think it's a cat with a unicorn horn. Pretty cute. A lot of the characters like this one are famous in Japan. They're really cute looking, right? Have you ever tried sushi? So these two kids are eating sushi, and maybe you can see they've got different types of raw fish or cooked fish on rice. They're using chopsticks to eat the sushi, and they're dipping it in soy sauce. Also, there's some soup here, miso soup, I think. There's a lot of different types of sushi. Maybe you've seen it rolled up. Maybe you've seen it more like this. There's some chopsticks, some ginger. Do you like sushi? Now, I live in Japan right now, and I flew here from Kansas about half a year ago. So I got on a plane and I flew all the way from Kansas to Japan. Guess how long it took me to fly all the way across the ocean to the island chain of Japan? You know what? It took me about 20, maybe 13 hours, maybe up to 20 hours if you include the flight from Kansas to California. So a long time. It's kind of tiring. But when I got to Japan, I got to do so many fun things like see gardens and try all the delicious food, and I get to be a teacher and teach English in Japan. There's so many beautiful places to go. Gardens, waterfalls. There's even big cities with lots of people that all go out at the same time and go to restaurants and hang out in big cities like Tokyo. They also really enjoy looking at flowers in Japan, and I've enjoyed that too. If you've seen this video, it's Big Bird in Japan. So Big Bird goes to Japan. You see the mountain in the background? What mountain is that? Do you know? It's called Mount Fuji. It's the most famous mountain in Japan. In Japan, kids often wear bright, colorful clothing that looks like robes. They're called yukata. And if you wanted to color your own yukata, you could design it any way you'd like to. This one has flowers on it, like I think they are cherry blossoms. They're famous in Japan. Here's a boy's yukata. So, how do you say some Japanese words. In Japan, they speak Japanese. 1, 2, 3 is ichi, ni, san. Try it with me. 1, 2, 3 is ichi, ni, san. Ichi, ni, san. To say good morning, you can say Ohio. It sounds like the state of Ohio in America, but when you say Ohio in Japanese, it means good morning. So try it. Ohio. Ohio. When you write in Japanese, you use different letters. So, for example, if you wanted to write river, you would make 3 lines like this. Does it look like a river? Or if you wanted to say tree, if you wanted to write tree, you would draw it like this. Does that look like a tree?
One, two, three is ichi, ni, san.
Itchy knee what?
Ichi, ni, san. Ohio means good morning.
That's my favorite one.
But 1, 2, 3 is ichi, ni, san. Please is dozo.
Yes is hi.
Sayonara means goodbye. Arigato, thank you. Now we're nearly done. And 1, 2, 3 is ichi, ni, san.
So yeah, that Big Bird song, I really like it. Ichi, ni, san. That's 1, 2, 3. And how do you say good morning? Ohio. Ohio. So these kids are at school. I think they're going to take a nap now. One cool thing about Japan is that a lot of kids take the train to school. Have you ever taken the train to go to school? So they'll get on a train with their backpack and their uniform. And even in junior high school or high school, a lot of kids will take a train to get to school. And a lot of kids don't even go with their parents. They just get on the train by themselves. Now also in Japan, there's a special way that you can say hello. A lot of times in America, when you meet someone for the first time, you shake their hand, right? Or maybe you wave at them. But in Japan, you bow, like Big Bird is doing here. When you say goodbye or when you say hello, you might bow like this. You just bend at the waist. Even when you say thank you, you might bow. So why don't you give it a try? Stand up.
Step 1. Know how and when to bow. A slight dip of the neck and shoulders is sufficient for a casual hello to friends.
So you see that this kid is bowing slightly. So if you're just saying hello to a friend, you might just bow slightly like this. Give it a try. Now, if you're getting a gift or if you're saying hello to a grandparent or a parent, you might do a little bit of a deeper bow like this kid is doing right here. See how he's bowing a little bit deeper? Give that a try too. Now, one cool thing, you can sit down now if you like. So one cool thing about Japan is the kids often share responsibilities, like they'll clean up. Do you clean up in your classroom? Maybe they serve lunch to each other. Do you serve lunch or serve snacks to your friends at snack time? Looks like these kids are having some soup and rice for lunch. Let's check out and see. Let's listen to the song again and let's see what a kid's lunch might look like in Japan.
バードに歌を歌ってくれない？
はい。One, two, three is 123
Itchy knee what?
123おはよう Miss Good morning
That's my favorite one.
But 1, 2, 3 is 123 Please is どうぞ
Yes is high.
さよなら means goodbye ありがとう Thank you Now we're nearly done And 1, 2, 3 is 123
Pretty cool, right? So, you may have noticed a lot of kids eat rice and soup. This is a common breakfast. You'll eat rice and miso soup. It's a really delicious soup. Have you ever tried it before? Now, I asked some kids what their favorite food was, and some of them said rice and miso soup. Some of them said melon. Is melon one of your favorite foods? A lot of kids really like this type of sushi that has egg on it. So it's an egg omelet on top of rice. Do you think it looks delicious?
Three favorite foods are onigiri, soba, and miso soup, and my favorite dessert is Japanese chocolate.
That's my friend Izora, and she was talking about her 3 favorite foods. So, the first one she mentioned was onigiri, which is like rice, and maybe you put some salmon inside of it, or maybe you put some tuna inside of it. It's really delicious. The second one that she really likes is miso soup. Have you ever tried this miso soup? And the third favorite food was soba. It's kind of like pasta, and it's kind of like a mixture between it's kind of like spaghetti but without the tomato sauce, and it's usually served cold with maybe some vegetables. Here's a really special soba I got to eat in Japan recently, and it has fried shrimp on top of it, and it has onion and fried vegetables, and I was dipping the noodles in that sauce on the right side. So I would use chopsticks to pick up the noodles and dip it in that sauce. It was so good. And here's a lunch soba I ate recently. Her favorite dessert, Izora told us, was Japanese chocolate. So she really likes the candy from Japan. Let's listen to her say it again.
3 favorite foods are onigiri, soba, and miso soup, and my favorite dessert is Japanese chocolate.
So thanks to Izora for telling us about her favorite foods. Some other foods in Japan are curry. Have you ever had curry? Maybe with vegetables and rice. This is a sweet bean paste bun. Anpan it's called. And this character's name is Anpan Man because he's like a bun man. This is ramen. Have you ever tried ramen? They're also famous in Japan for making really cool looking lunch boxes. This is called a bento box. So this is a cat. Pretty cute, right? Here's a dog lunch made out of rice. Here's a bear. Can you see what this kid is Oh, I guess it's a kid. I gave it away. Here's a lunch I had recently. It's got miso soup, and there's salmon, and there's rice, and all kinds of delicious things. This is an egg as well. And there's more egg. This is sashimi, so raw fish. And look, there's a flower on it that you can eat. Look at that yellow flower. In Japan, they also have American-style restaurants. What restaurant is this? Do you know? It's McDonald's. I even ate Burger King in Japan. Now, this is really cool. There's a Pizza Hut in Japan, or Domino's Pizza, and some really common toppings in Japan for pizza are corn and mayonnaise. Does that sound good? What do you think? A pizza with corn and mayonnaise on it? Now, Big Bird found out that some Japanese people sleep on the floor, on a futon, a special type of bed that goes on the floor. These kids are sleeping on a futon. This kid's sleeping on a futon. Does that look comfortable? Now, in Japan, I got to go to a rock garden. So basically here's a picture of me at the rock garden. They rake the garden every day to make it look like that cool design. It's very peaceful. I also got to cross this bridge, and I was kind of scared, so I was holding on to the side of the bridge. But this kid just walked across it like nothing was happening. He was so brave, and I was really scared. It's an old, beautiful bridge. So on this day, we had a pancake that had vegetables and meat and potatoes and onions in it. And then we covered it with like a sweet sauce with mayonnaise. It's called okonomiyaki. Does it look good? Another day I had kind of like a meatloaf with french fries and rice. And for dessert I had sesame flavored ice cream. It was really good. This is me on the left and my friend. And we are having vanilla and tea flavored frozen yogurt. Does that sound good? This is a green tea that's famous in Japan. My friend tried traditional green tea with her Japanese friend. And we got to see some beautiful temples. There's some really peaceful places you can go in Japan. Like this is a beautiful river. One thing I've realized, here's me ringing the bell near a temple. One thing I've realized about living in Japan is that you start to notice really small things about life, like a cat on the street, or the fog in the trees, or a beautiful bright yellow fish. These are koi fish. Pretty cool, right? Looks like an orange cow fish. Also, karaoke is famous, so people get together and they sing in these small little rooms where you can see the words to the song on the screen. Pretty fun, right? So I'm a teacher in Japan, and sometimes I talk about where I'm from, which is America. And I'm from the state of Kansas. So this is me when I was a kid in Kansas. And one thing that I talk about with America and with Kansas is that there's a lot of really flat land there. So in Japan, that maybe they're not used to the flat land. Seeing really, really flat land with beautiful sunsets like this is kind of rare in Japan. There's a lot of mountains here. There's a special animal in Kansas called bison. Here's a picture of my mom. She's a teacher in Kansas. And she teaches kids about Japan. So I talk about her, and I sing the song, 1, 2, 3 is Ichi ni san. And then I say, Ohayo is good morning. So I sing that song for the kids. I also talk about the food in America because it's kind of different. Like, this is a breakfast called French toast with fried eggs and maple syrup. Maybe that's not very common in Japan. I showed this hamburger that I had one time with potato chips. And I put pickled jalapenos on top of it, and they think that's so weird. It's so interesting to put spicy peppers on a hamburger or put raw onions on a hamburger. This is a picture of breakfast tacos. And then also pancakes and bacon and eggs. It looks so American. This is chips and salsa. So maybe they're not used to, in Japan, eating any spicy foods or eating chips or even eating very much tomato. So they think it's kind of interesting to see the foods that we eat in America. And there's a special holiday, I tell them, called Thanksgiving. So this is a turkey. And there's all these side dishes, and Americans get together and eat a lot of food and enjoy spending time together. In Japan, there's not really cranberry to eat. So this is a cranberry sauce with Thanksgiving. And there's not turkey in Japan. There's not even turkey sandwiches. So this is a really special, interesting thing to see about America. And on Thanksgiving, a lot of times we eat pumpkin pie, right? So they think that's really cool. Here's some cheesy potatoes. Baked potatoes. Do you ever eat potatoes? Do you ever eat bagels? I love eating like cheese bagels from a restaurant called Panera in America. But there's no Panera really in Japan. There's not very many bagels either. So they think that's pretty cool too. Here's a pizza with broccoli on it that I ate in New York. It's square, kind of thin and crispy. And in America, you know, this is Greek food with hummus. So in America, there's a lot of different types of food, like Mexican food and Greek food and Thai restaurants. And that's kind of a special thing about America, is that there's food from all around the world. And, you know, in Japan, they have food from all around the world too, but not quite as much as America. So yeah, Japan's a gorgeous place. I take all these pictures of just sort of the beautiful, relaxing things that I appreciate about Japan. And one thing I've learned about Japan is that, you know, they say stop and smell the roses. Just enjoying, you know, flowers or a waterfall or a beautiful summer day, enjoying even just your house shoes or taking a bath or relaxing, is something that I've just really learned to appreciate about Japan. Even just a cup of tea, you can just really enjoy it. And this is a special ceremony where these women are wearing kimono in Japan and making that green tea in a very special way and really appreciating that beautiful green tea. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson about Japan. Do you remember how to say 1, 2, 3 is? Ichi, ni, san. Do you remember how to say good morning? Ohayo. And now we can learn how to say goodbye. Do you know how to say goodbye in Japanese? Sayonara. Sayonara. So I hope you have a great day. Enjoy everything about the beautiful day today. And see you next time. Bye. Sayonara.